What's up, Nickel City Mafia? And welcome to another Bills Tailgate Show. Tonight, we'll be getting into Week 17 matchup with the Patriots, round 2 with the Patriots. Before we do that, first of all, I hope everyone had a fantastic Christmas. I know I sure did. Busy 3 days. We had family we traveled to on, what was it, Saturday, and then we had family come to us on Sunday. And then for Christmas, we just kind of hung out, and my mom came over. So it was a nice, quiet day at home on Christmas. My friend over here, Jake, Mr. Podger, how you doing? And how was your Christmas, my friend?
It was incredible, Mike. I mean, we set the tone Friday night with our holiday show.
Oh, we sure did.
We were able to raise over the $5,000 goal that we had, which is incredible. And then, the whole weekend was just amazing. Everything was awesome about it. Got myself didn't get myself. My parents gifted me a Blackstone for Christmas this year, which is incredible.
What is that?
So I got a nice, so it's basically like a big griddle. And, I got a 36-inch griddle on that sucker. And it's great because I don't have a flat top to cook on. And I always wanted one. And ended up getting that for Christmas. So I've been doing stuff every day with it. It's been great. First day I did like a hibachi type style, did some fried rice and some chicken, shrimp, steak, the whole shebang. And then today I did breakfast. So I am 2 for 2 so far, I think. But yeah, no, life is good, Mike. Cannot complain. It'll be even better with a win on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Yeah, I do want to thank everyone who helped us reach our goal. The Holiday Spectacular show last Friday went for 3 hours and 40 minutes. It was a lot of fun. I mean, it just flew by. We had a lot of people, and we raised over 2,000 in one night to hit our goal. So I want to appreciate, thank you to all of you that helped with that. That was fantastic. So Jake, let's get into it a little bit here. So let's first of all talk about where the Bills sit in the playoff race. Right now, they're at number 6, and they are in control of their own destiny. And there's a scenario that they can win this week and clinch a playoff spot. They need a couple other teams to lose. We'll go through a few of those scenarios. But Jake, I mean, 3 weeks ago, before we went on this 3-game winning streak, it wasn't looking pretty for the Bills. But we've got some serious help over the last 3 weeks, huh?
You ain't kidding. I mean, we've seemed to find ourselves a little bit, and we're on a nice little winning streak here. And, I think the Bills had a little bit of a wake-up call last week, but they're ready for the challenge. And I think the biggest thing is just not playing down to your competition. But, yeah, there's a very clean way for the Bills to get into the playoffs this week, which is incredible. I mean, obviously, you still want to win the division, but just getting in is enough right now, I think, at this point for us.
Yeah, so the Bills with a win and a Pittsburgh loss and a Cincinnati loss, Bills clinch a playoff spot. Yep. And those, both the Steelers and the Bengals have a tough game. The Bengals take on the Chiefs and KC, and the Steelers play Seattle in Seattle. So both those teams travel for an away game against pretty darn good teams that are in the playoff hunt. So I like our chances there. There are a bunch of other scenarios. Buffalo win and a Pittsburgh loss or a Jacksonville loss. Pittsburgh's very key in this, but there's so many different combos where if the Bills win and a couple other teams lose, we're celebrating getting into the playoffs. But the nice thing is, too, what we're really hoping for is to have a shot in Week 18 for that AFC East title, Jake. Caught you in a drink there.
It's all good. No, I mean, it's definitely got to pay attention to this Ravens and Dolphins game on Sunday, because that's really the fate of the division. If the Dolphins do win, the Bills are officially eliminated from being the division winner. But it may also be the best thing that could happen to us, going on the road, having to play these games. Obviously, everyone wants to host a home playoff game, and it's still in the cards. I mean, you saw what the Ravens did to the 49ers. The Dolphins are not going to be able to just cakewalk this team. They're going to have to go in there. They're going to have to play their best football and be turnover-free and not make any mistakes, because the Ravens were very opportunistic. And my gosh, they do look like the best team in the AFC right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to, let's say if the season were to end today at number 6, we'd be playing the Chiefs in Kansas City, my friend. And that's crazy. That's a very likely scenario unless we pull off the AFC East. So I like our chances. That team that I saw the other night beat Dallas, those Ravens. oh my goodness, they look like the team to beat right now. I mean, we've been watching them. We have some friends on the channel who actually are on the Nickel City Mafia channel who provide content. One lives in Baltimore, big Ravens fans. My son Jonah, because of Madden. I forget what year that Lamar was on the Madden cover, but he's sort of a Ravens fan, so we keep in touch with the Ravens. I've kind of swayed him. He's kind of 50-50 right now. He says, I think he's 60-40 Bills, but he still likes to keep an eye on them. And so what do you think? Do you like the chances? Because this is the one game of the last 4 games for the Dolphins. 3 of the 4 last games were at home. This is the one game they have to travel. I am worried that, the Ravens are going to be on a short week, coming off a big win against the Niners. And boy, they destroyed the Niners. But, how you liking our chances that the Ravens beat the Dolphins?
I like our chances. I actually do. And I'm not just saying that. I actually think that, especially with the Dolphins losing Jalen Waddle potentially for the remainder of the regular season, that's huge. And I feel like, that offensive line is so banged up. I mean, you saw what Jadeveon Clowney and Justin Madubuike and some of those defensive linemen did against this Niners offensive line, which is very good. And I know they had some guys go down in that game too, but man, like if they're doing that against the Niners, which is a better offensive line, just imagine what they could do against Miami. So I feel pretty good about the Ravens getting a victory this weekend.
Man, this was maybe the second time I got to see Zay Flowers play for the Ravens, because I haven't watched a lot of the games. This one for sure, because we were, my son, it was on prime time, so of course we're watching it. And I've seen him one other time, but Zay Flowers, man, I remember how badly you wanted him.
Yeah.
And what a game changer that kid is, man. What a game
he's
changer.
Unbelievable. He plays with such fire and competitiveness, and you could see it. I mean, he is literally Steve Smith 2.0. That's what I compared him to. That's what a lot of scouts compared him to as well. And my gosh, I mean, everything, the intangibles, everything lines up perfectly for this kid. He's going to have a very bright future in this league.
He really is. He kind of reminds me a little bit, like just watching him the other night with his quickness, is like Tyreek a little bit as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he can take the top off a defense if he needs to, but get him underneath, get him in space, and let him do his thing. And I was just thinking, I'm like, man, Jake, if we would have got that guy. But that's not, we got Dalton Kincaid, who we're very happy with. But I know you were big on him. And when did the Ravens draft him? Was it middle of the first round? I think
he was at 20. I want to say it was. So 20.
We wouldn't have to go up too far. I mean, another, 4 or 5 picks to get him, maybe?
Yep. I feel like the Bills always knew, though.
Yeah.
If they couldn't get one of like the top 3 guys at the receiver position, I think they knew at that moment they wanted to go Dalton Kincaid. And they traded up to get him too. And, I love the pick. I think it's been a great move. The last few weeks, he's been a little quiet. And he had a couple drops against the Cowboys as well. Hopefully we can get him into another groove again this weekend against the Patriots.
Yeah, Jake, he's got a shot to beat Pete Metzler's single season reception record for tight ends. I think the record is 67 for Pete, something like that, or 68. And a couple of weeks ago,
I think it's 66.
Is it 66?
Yeah.
Why don't you check it out there?
Something like that.
Let's run that, because we're trivia guys. We got to get the answer.
Yeah, I should know this.
I mean, I'm thinking it's 68 or 67.
It is 68.
All right.
Very good, Mike.
I got a trivia.
In 1993, the year I was born, he set the record. 68 for 609 that year. Wow.
68. And what does Dalton have right now? I think he's
Dalton's
around
at 61, I want to say.
Yeah, and that X61's from a couple of weeks ago. So I thought for sure he was going to hit it. Now he's got 2 games to do it. So be nice to see the young kid get it. He certainly can. But
62. I'm sorry.
He's at 62. Okay, so he had to pick one up over the last 2 weeks. But 6 more in 2 games, very doable. 7 in 2 games, very doable. So we'll see. We'll see. They kind of shied away from him a little bit. Let's say hi to the channel real quick. Big L out there. Thank you, Big L, for reaching out. Miami got lucky against the Cowboys. Man, that was a game. That was a game for sure.
They're a Hunter Lupke fumble away from that being a Cowboys victory. Like, my gosh, just awful.
Yeah, you know what? But we can say we got lucky too in that Chiefs game for sure.
Oh,
There's a little luck in these games, Big Al.
Yeah.
And look what happened to us against the Chargers. Are you kidding me?
right?
That was way too close. And then Roy Collins coming in. For all that is holy, can we please get the wide receiver room in groove? Yeah, I mean, at least Stephon Diggs showed up when we needed him to show up in this past game against the Chargers. There's some big receptions from him. Khalil seems to always show up. He's good for about 2 or 3 nice big plays. And Gabe Davis. Gabe finally had a game. And but we just need them all to kind of show up on the same night and just put it all together as we move forward. What's your thoughts on what Roy's saying there?
Yeah, I 100% agree. It would be nice to see a game like they had against the Buccaneers where it seemed like the entire receiving core was intact. They all played very well. They all made key plays. And we haven't had a game like that in quite some time. I think you're just expecting this offense to sort of explode. I said it yesterday on our AFC East Summit show. I would love to see a 300, 100-yard game, 300-yard passer and a 100-yard rusher. And then why don't you throw in a couple 100-yard receivers at that point as well? That would be really nice to see.
Yeah, it's like, when was the last time Stephon Diggs had a 100-yard receiving game? Feels like it's been forever.
A while. Yeah, it's been a while. We're talking since really maybe October or November.
Oh my gosh, I know Gabe's had at least 2 in the past 30 days. I mean, he takes a couple of weeks off and then he shows up with these 100-yard games. But yeah, Diggs, man,
it's crazy.
That's shocking to me that's even possible. Honestly, really is.
Sean talked about it too, and he's like, Steph Diggs, he had like 890 receiving yards. He was third in the NFL in receiving yards 8 games in, and since then he's only maybe registered 300 more yards since, maybe 200. I think he's at like 1,090 or something like that this year. So it is alarming. You're not seeing the same numbers that you're used to seeing. But I don't know if you had a chance, Mike, to watch the mic'd up Josh Allen against the Chargers.
I did.
It was great.
It
and
was.
I think it really was interesting to hear it from a fan's perspective, because when everyone talks about Steph Diggs, you just assume he's maybe upset that he's not getting targets. He's not as involved in the offense as he once was. And what I saw out there on the field was a leader and a guy that was willing to do what it takes to win. He didn't care about stats or anything like that. And him and Josh seemed to be totally fine too. So I love it too, because Josh didn't even know he was mic'd up at the end. He's like, I was mic'd up. I had no idea. So pretty good.
Yeah, I did like it. It was pretty long. I couldn't believe how long
it was.
So it was pretty cool. It's definitely cool to see. I like that he went up to Hoshka.
That was cool.
And like remembered his kid's name or something like that?
Yeah.
It was just cool to see. Big Al saying Elam will get some playing time this week. So it did seem that Elam was activated. Benford, I still don't know what the word is. He was a little dinged up, but if I look at real quickly, let's get into the injury report here. So it's early. Nobody's listed as out right now. Let's see. Let me look at, where is he? I don't even see Benford on the injury list. So that's interesting.
I think he's okay. Yeah, it is interesting because that shoulder's been bothering him for a while.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like it's not a significant issue or anything like that. So that's good. But I'm curious to see how often Kaiir Elam is rotated in, or if he's just going to play specials specifically.
Yeah, I mean, what makes you think, Big Al, that he's going to actually play some this week? I mean, you still have all the other guys, and I don't know why they would put him in there unless there was a big injury, but we're not seeing anything like that. Jake, do you see any scenario that you see him coming in as a rotational player and at corner?
I do, and only for the mere fact that it's the Patriots, and I think this is a team that you could play physically against, and it could be a good confidence booster for him as we head into the playoffs. So if he does have to come in, then maybe, he'll have that confidence on his side. But it is interesting. I'm looking right now at the injury report myself. I don't see Christian Benford on this. Cam Lewis is on there, but he was a full participant. I mean, no secondary players outside of, really safeties, no corners outside of Cam Lewis.
Yeah.
That are listed on this injury report. So I'm not sure what the plan is, how often he's going to be in the game, or if he just plays specials. But there's a reason why he activated him, because if they didn't activate him, he'd go back to IR, and that would be a season for him.
That makes sense.
So I feel like they have some type of plan at least.
It'd be nice to see him, but we'll see. I think specials will be the way he starts.
Yeah.
Um, the one guy that I was actually excited to see on the injury report, who was a full participant, was Daquan Jones.
Yep.
And I don't think we'll see him this week, but we could see him in the Dolphin game because I think he has
Yeah.
to be elevated or activated before that game.
That's right.
He doesn't have to play. He could be inactive, but he has to be activated and um, full participant. So
Yeah.
I know you say on Wednesdays they don't do a whole lot, right? I think during
It
the typical
depends on when
practice.
they're playing, but
Okay,
yeah. So Tuesday is typically the off day in the NFL, and then
yeah,
Wednesday is like limited. Might be shoulder pads and shorts. But yeah, it's typically, and even so, later on in the year like this, they're not typically going crazy in practices because everyone's banged up. Everyone is dealing with some sort of injury at this point in the season.
yeah. Then we got Matt Chatter join us. Yo, Mike, you know when Matt Chatter joins us, party. Let's go. Matt
There it is.
Chatter.
I haven't heard this in a minute.
I know. Welcome to the channel there, Matt Chatter. Good to
Been a
see
while.
you. He's also got a Yo Jake out there. Yes. Russell
Yeah,
Wilson
Chatter.
benched. I haven't heard that news. Is this news?
Yeah. This is actually, Mike, I'm surprised you haven't heard it. It's been kind of all over. So
Wow.
the big controversy with this is the fact that if Russell Wilson were to play the remainder of this year and sustain some type of injury and did not pass his physical come, I think, March, so it'd be the offseason, the Broncos would then be on the hook for $39 million that they would have to pay him. So the thought here is if they bench him and he remains healthy, they won't have to owe him that $39 million. So there's an option where they don't have to pay that. And if they were to release him, I think there would be whatever the difference is between where he signed. So if he signed with, let's say he signs with the Raiders for the veteran minimum of like 1 million, the Broncos would then owe $38 million. But that's definitely not going to happen, right? He's going to sign with the team. He'll probably sign for 15 or 20 million or whatever it may be. And the Broncos would just split the difference. So they wouldn't have to cover the full 39 million.
Wow.
And I think a lot of this has to do with Sean Payton not loving Russell Wilson being his quarterback in general. But then also the fact that, hey, they want to see if they can save some money, try to get out of this whole situation. And honestly, Russell statistically has not played bad this year. I don't think he's played bad at all, period. He's not putting up these glaring numbers that we're used to seeing from him during his heyday in
Yeah.
Seattle. But at the same time, I mean, this team still has a shot at the playoffs. Now, it's a long shot. That loss to New England on Sunday was brutal. But, man, for you just to switch Jarrett Stidham and play him over Russell Wilson, it's got to say something about how Sean Payton feels. And obviously the organization, they don't want to pay him that much money.
Interesting. Yeah, that would be shady if they did that to him. I mean,
It's a dirty business.
it is, but it's a lot of money, like you said. And
Yeah.
if he's not happy with him as a quarterback, you can do a lot with that money, right? Free agency, cap space. I mean, lots of things can happen with that. So, interesting situation. Yeah, I hadn't heard it. Thanks for filling me in.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be something to follow for sure. But I guess Sean Payton has always really liked Jarrett Stidham. He went out and signed him. He purposely wanted to bring this guy in. So I think there is some truth to that, but to do it now is very perplexing to me. I guess maybe he feels like they're going to just wave the white flag and that's it. But
Yeah. Big L saying Hyatt and AJ are day to day. McDermott today said they're making good progress. That's good to
yeah,
see.
that is good.
To hear. Roy coming in with saying, if the game is in the bag by the fourth quarter, by the way, Roy, we know it won't be. Let's just face facts here. The Bills have been in 10 one-score games. They lost to the Patriots. We're 4-6 in those one-score games, Jake, which is insane. We're 5-0 in games where we've beaten an opponent by 2 scores or more. Pretty crazy stuff. And I
that
say
is wild.
Roy, by all means, we should blow the doors off this team. But look, we should have blown the doors off the Chargers. And look what happened. We barely got the win. So I don't know. It's crazy, Jake, this year. It really is.
It is. The margin in this league is so much smaller than what it used to be, too. I mean, you even see these really good teams that are just barely winning games. And it is, I mean, I said this last year, too, I feel like, but this year it has been the year of any given Sunday. So you just don't know what's going to happen. And these are the games that the Bills, I think, need to prove something in, because they've been able to run with the best of them. They always play up to their competition. But when they play a team that is basically down for the count and out, they just don't show up. So we need them to show up.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. What else do we have here? Barkley to active roster?
Yeah. Yep. Matt Barkley.
Really?
Pretty cool.
Why would that be?
So I know Tommy DeVito had been injured, and I think I believe they actually named Tyrod Taylor their starter this week. So
okay.
That's interesting too. And actually, Matt Barkley signed with the Jags, not the Giants. So he was with the Giants on their practice squad. He signed to the Jags active roster. So that tells you a little bit about where they're at with their quarterback situation. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence has been going through some stuff with injuries and whatnot too. And CJ Beathard, same deal. So,
Jake, I gotta call the Mad Chatter out here. I mean, he just got home from Wild Wings. That Buffalo Wild Wings, with all the other options,
Mad Chatter.
What's going
Come on?
Here? What's going on here?
What are we doing, man? You're in Buffalo. You can't be going. We have one Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm surprised it's actually still around, because, we have so many great wing places here. No Buffalo Wild Wings has been able to survive. I think the only one left is on Maple Road in the North Towns.
We've got a few out here, and they have survived, so that tells you how good the wings are.
Yeah.
Out here.
Yeah. It's a bold move trying to open up a Buffalo Wild Wings in Buffalo, New York.
Well, Matt Chatter, so let me ask you, what is your favorite wings? We'd love to hear that.
Yep.
Since you are in the Buffalo area, what's your place? What's your go-to place? All right. He says Coach Payton's mad. Raiders beat the Chiefs without scoring an offensive touchdown. Anything is possible. Yeah.
That's wild.
It is wild. And this week, I'm not taking this game lightly whatsoever. I took the game against the Patriots first time lightly, and I just stopped giving score predictions. I'll say whether we'll win or lose, and I'm going to say it right now. I'll give you my prediction. Bills will win. It'll be a one-score game, and we'll win by one or more points. That's it.
There we go.
Jake, we got a little cocky last week, and we almost lose it. Everyone's predicting 45-10. We'll shut them out in the second half. Big Al was over 30. I think you were over 30. I bought into it. And I said, all right, fine. I'll give her a prediction.
Never again.
And I was regretting it big time afterwards.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Let's see here. Sean and Brett and Chet said it was okay. My love of Buffalo.
But they don't live in Buffalo, man, Chad. Right? Listen, we're going to meet up, and we're going to go get some good wings, me and you. All right? How's that sound? Beers on me, wings on me.
Yes, definitely got to meet up with the Mad Chatter. Timmy, first of all, Timmy, give us an update on the Sabre game. I know they were down 2-0. How bad is it now? But last night I was watching Timmy's show. It's tough when the AFC East Summit and the Sabres Edge is on. And so I go over there and try to give them a lot of love. And, you guys had talked about Timmy might be going to the Waffle House because he's in that. He's in the toilet bowl, right? He's got.
Oh yeah.
I think he's going up against Jackson this week, and the loser is supposed to be going to the Waffle House. He's like, first when I said that to him, he's like, Mike, you're gonna have to give me more information. What do you mean? I told him about the fantasy football, and he's like, and then he says, Sam, hold on a minute. I gotta say something about this. And he went on a little rant about that whole fantasy football setup.
Timmy, it was incredible. By the way, we need to see more of that. I hope we don't have to see more of that and that type of scenario. Hopefully it's for a good reason next time, like you're fired up in a good way. But you gotta love the passion for sure.
Hot barbecue is back, so I'm going often. Hot barbecue at Wild Wings? Is that what it's saying?
This hurts my soul.
I can't even. I can't believe
it. All right, at least you said something about Duff's.
And then he likes your, you taking him out for some wings.
Matt Chatter, have you been to Barbell yet? Because if you haven't been, let's go. Let's do it. We got to do it, especially if you like barbecue.
Broncos expected to cut Russell in March. How would they even? So you just talked about that a little bit.
That's right. Yeah, basically they would just cover whatever remaining cap they owe, the difference between how much he signs with the new team he signs with, and then the 39 minus that. So that's what they would owe.
All right, Big L says, Timmy, you might have to switch teams to keep your sanity. I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, Timmy and Sam, I mean, that channel's growing. They keep getting onesie twosie subscribers to the content. I love their show. Those guys are so good. They're great together. You got Sam, who's the young guy, sort of like you. You got Timmy, the older vet, sort of like me, and they are so fun to watch, and they bring a lot of good content. So if you're in the Sabres,
how about Timmy though? We put him on the spot a little bit about the Waffle House, and he is not about it. He says he didn't even draft this team, which I know he did not. We did that draft late at night. Tim is an early bird. Even on the show, he's tired, and he's ready for bed basically at about 9 p.m. So that show is late for him.
If he signed up for the league, I know. There's no excuses, my friend. There's no excuses.
I told him if he wants to fly me out, I'll go eat some waffles with him.
We'd live stream that. That'd be fun.
It would be hilarious.
Even be referred to as a pro hockey team
anymore. Oh, man.
Oh, Roy, come on.
That's tough. That is tough.
Hey,
Jeepers. By the way, can you hear that squeaking behind me?
No, dude. The train is great. It's going at a fast pace. I love it. It's going nice.
There was a squeaky wheel on that train, like I said, and I gotta maybe grease the tracks or something, but it's squeaking a little bit.
So Roy, I asked the guys last night, how many points are we out of a playoff spot? Just 7 points. So if we can go on a run here, 7 points is not insurmountable. So we got this. I'm still a believer.
Yeah.
I'm still a believer. Timmy's ready to, call it a season. Sam, not so much, but I love how they have different takes. It's a lot of fun. Let's see here. They do a very good job. They absolutely do. I love their show. Timmy, why is it a dynasty? Look, Timmy, I didn't know that as either. And let me just say this. First week of the season, I forgot I was in this league and I got blown out by Jake. I had guys, and then I came back and ended up being the number 2 seed. And hey, I lost last week, but hey, I'm free from the Waffle House. That was the goal.
Crazy.
I haven't watched hockey since the Hartford.
Wow.
Sort of thing. Dang, Roy.
It's been some time since that. I love the Hartford Whalers uniforms, though. Those were great.
Well, listen, Jake, let's get into this game a little bit right now. So, the Patriots, to our surprise, have won 2 out of their last 3. They haven't mailed it in. I know Chris on the AFC Summit is like, hey, he just wants them to tank. He wants the tank. And I saw Keith say to him, you can't ask professional football players to tank. And he said, yes, I can. And yes, you will. I want a high draft choice. But you know what? Belichick is just not letting those guys fold. And, there's a lot of talk whether Belichick will be back or not. But I think he will. And I'll tell you why. So I read up a little bit about Bill and reading all the rumors. Do you know he's only 26 wins away in a regular season to catch the great Don Shula for most wins as a coach in regular season?
Pretty damn good.
Shula did it in 33 years. Shula went to coach 6 Super Bowls. He won 2 of those, whereas Bill is 6-3 in Super Bowls, and Bill has 2 more rings. He has 8 total rings, 2 as a defensive coordinator, and one of those rings came against the Buffalo Bills in that first Super Bowl wide right, and he came up with a great scheme to shut down that high-powered offense. So, first, let me ask you. There's been talks about him retiring. I just don't see it. And then there's been talks. I think Rick came in, our good friend Rick, talking about, I forget what team he said, that it's
the Chargers.
It was the Chargers?
Yeah.
Already done that he's going to be, on the Chargers. So what's your thoughts on Bill?
Yeah, I've heard the rumors too, where he's just like raving over Justin Herbert and the possibility to go coach this team that has so much potential and hasn't quite gotten there yet. It's just a weird fit to me. Like, I just can't picture him going to LA. And then I heard the Washington Commanders were also that team. And both of those squads, I don't see it. And I do feel like there's a better chance of him actually staying in New England than leaving. Although all the reports have said that Bill is out the door after this year is done. I don't know. It's hard to believe that that's the case.
Yeah, it is. But maybe at some point, do you need a fresh start? Do you need something?
You do. Yeah.
And the Commanders, they got some, they've shown promise at times.
Oh yeah.
The Chargers with Herbert. I mean, if I was Bill, I'm looking for a team that I'm going to win with right away.
Yep.
Like, I don't think he wants to. I mean, he's in his 29th year of coaching. Shula broke the record in 33 years of coaching. So
Right.
if he has 500, if his teams play at 500 level for the next 3 years, he could break the record. And what a way to go out. Not only does he have the most Super Bowls as a coach, and now he has the most wins as a coach. I don't know. If it was me, that would be on my definitely on my bucket list. Now that I'm here, now that they've made it 29
Oh
years,
yeah.
all these wins, you got to finish that out. I think.
Yeah, you might as well, right? Yeah.
So what do you see here? Justin Herbert and Burrow are not in the same situation as L. They are surrounded by good wide receivers. But you got Keenan Allen, who's kind of getting up there in age, continues to get hurt most of the time, although he played great up until the injury this year. And then you got Mike Williams, who is always hurt, dude. That guy, don't draft him in your
so much talent, though. My gosh, it's sad. Yeah, I mean, and he has these insane acrobatic catches. And now Quentin Johnson sort of finding his way a little bit. Really started off slow, and the last few games he's had to step up a little bit. Has done a decent job.
Yeah, and then Washington is a defensive-centric team.
Yep.
So we'll see. I think, again, just the reason I brought up Belichick is because, the team could have tanked and got maybe a possibility at a top quarterback, but they're winning 2 out of the last 3. They've beaten the Steelers, and they lost 6-0 to the Chargers, which is absolutely crazy. That could even happen in today's game, Jake. I mean, how did that happen? It's in California, and you would think if it's a 6-0 game, there's a blizzard, something going crazy. 6-0 in Southern California.
Freaking wild, yeah.
But then they came back and they beat. Who did they beat in their last game?
They beat the Broncos, and that was a nail biter. I mean, it came down to the wire. The Broncos came surging back, but the Patriots had enough firepower to put it away at the end there. Chad Ryland, the rookie kicker, with a game-winning 57-yard field goal. So, and he had missed an extra point and missed some kicks, and had a tough game coming into that. So, good rebound by him there.
Yeah, so they had lost, 5 in a row until beating Pittsburgh, which helped us, by the way. Again, they've been helping us a little bit. These are teams that we needed to jump over, and they beat Pittsburgh 21-18. They fight, Kansas City pretty hard. They lost 27-17 in KC, and then they beat Denver 26-23. So the last 2 out of 3, like I said, they've been able to win, and that just tells me Belichick would love to come into Buffalo and ruin our season by beating us.
Of course he would.
He's already beat us.
I mean, really,
once.
The thing is, too, Mike, you look at all the games that the Patriots have lost. They've been close. Like, they're not getting blown out in any of these games. I mean, there was a very real possibility that this team, I mean, you look at the Giants game, you look at the Chargers game, you look at the Colts game. I mean, those are 3 wins right there. The Commanders as well. They only lost by 3 there. I mean, that's 4 wins, 4 more wins where they're at 8-7 instead of 4-11. And they're thinking playoffs at this point too then.
Yeah, they've only really been blown out against 2 teams, and that was Dallas and New Orleans.
Right.
They laid a pretty big beat down on those guys. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, again, 1-score games are just insane. We've been in 10 of them. And I think a lot of, like, if you look at the Chiefs, if you look at a team like, the Patriots, the NFL, the parity is so close that you have all these 1-score games. Teams are just not blowing out other teams like you would expect. A year or 2 ago, we were like predicting these 35-10, 35-17 games, and those were happening. That's just, it's insane to predict those anymore because they
play
just
hard.
Don't happen. Yeah, these
team plays hard. Yeah, and I think on top of that, you look at what Bailey Zappi's done too. And I know how Timmy feels about it.
Timmy, come on, buddy. They beat us. Come on. But let's talk about Bailey Zappi. So Bailey Zappi, drafted in the 4th round, 2022. The dude played for Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. It threw 62 touchdowns in 2021. Jake, guy's a gunslinger. So talk to me a little bit. I'm sure you watched his games. I didn't. I just researched the kid. But talk to us about Bailey Zappi.
Kid's got a lot of moxie. Like, he goes out there too, and he's not. I just feel like nothing can really rattle him. I think he has been put into a very difficult situation, and oftentimes when he is coming into these games, he basically, I mean, not saying that he's unprepared or anything like that, but he's kind of just thrust into the moment. And I feel like with how Bill handles his quarterback situations, there was a time even coming up to when it was before Bailey was officially named the starter. Bill wouldn't name a starter till like the day before the game. So, and that could just be how he works psychologically. But, I like Bailey Zappi. I think he's done some good things for them. And, he's a good competitor. I think he had a really good game on Sunday night. I mean, he's done some good things for this team, and he's got them playing better at least. I'm not saying that they're a great team under him, but, you look at the game against Kansas City, they almost beat the Chiefs, and I'm not saying the Chiefs are great either, but, I mean, they're 2-2 under Bailey Zappi as a starter. So, not terrible.
Yeah, and we got, remember who beat us? It was Mac Jones, and Mac had probably his best game of the year, honestly. Yep. So, I don't think we're giving him too much respect, Timmy, only because of how we've seen the Bills play this year, up and down, one-score games, teams that we should blow out. We're barely winning. I mean, there was a time in that Charger game that I was like, season over. I mean, that's how it felt. It should have never gotten that close, but it did. One of the reasons why these games have been so close. Let me give you some numbers here, Jay, because I was curious about it myself. So we've lost the turnover battle 8 times this year.
Wow.
We're 4-4 in those games. Fortunate, but we're 4-4. We're 5-2 in games where the Bills have won the turnover battle. So again, it's cliche, but stay clean, win the turnover battle. Again, that was this thing against the Chargers. We lost the turnover battle 3-0. That's why that game was so close. You turn the ball over, you give teams opportunity to go on a short field and put up points. It's exactly what the Chargers did last week. We've got to stay clean. What are your thoughts on Mr. James Cook and his? No, look, he came to SoFi last year in his first carry ever in a regular season game as a rookie. He fumbles. He fumbles the ball, and then he put 2 on the ground last week. So I'm concerned. The guy in those, especially now, dude. There's going to be weather this Sunday. There's going to be weather. It's going to be in the 30s. Potentially some snow. It's going to be cold. Winds are, I think, 5 to 15. Dude, what's your thoughts on Mr. James Cook? Are you concerned about this?
No, I'm not. I'll tell you why, because you saw what he did. It's almost like the opposite for him. When he plays in bad weather, he holds on to the football better and he has his best games. When he plays in perfect conditions, for whatever reason, he struggles to hold on to the football. I don't get it. So, I say bring it on. I mean, let's lean on James Cook. Let's get this kid's confidence back to where it was. I think he's unbelievable, Mike. You know what I love too about James Cook? A lot of people don't really talk about this because he split carries at Georgia. I feel like he's got that much more of a lifespan here in the NFL. And, I think the Bills did the right thing by kind of slowly easing him into the game plan. But now it is time to let him just unleash. Like, this is a dude that we should be relying on more often. And he has proven to be our best playmaker over the stretch of the last, 4 or 5 games. So I think you feed him. I love what Timmy says here. I think again, he could have a really nice day against this New England Patriots defense. And, they're a stout defense. Don't get me wrong. I think they still play very disciplined and they're banged up themselves. But I feel like our offensive line is going to manhandle them and we're going to get some good yards on the ground.
Yeah, they're the 16th rated overall defense. They're the 32nd. They're the worst offense. But again, they've been putting up points lately. They put up 29 against the Bills. And I'm a little my only concern, Jake, is yes, James Cook, we've seen he's a game changer. He can catch the ball. I wish they would feed him more, throw some more receptions. I'd love to see like Breece Hall numbers. Like Breece had like 12 receptions the other day. And I see a lot of top pass catching running backs get these receptions. And a couple games ago, I think I don't know what his max has been, but I felt like it was working so good. Keep feeding him the ball in the air as well. But my concern is that defenses are going to be looking at this and they're going to be saying that this kid can put it on the ground. So every time he runs the ball, they're going to be punching down. I feel like he runs a little loose with it at times, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not saying take him off the field or anything like that. I just have a concern. And turnover battle, if we lose the turnover battle to the Patriots, it's going to keep them in the game.
Yes.
I like what Timmy said here. He said they got lucky. That's when the Bills had a grocery stick.
Oh, I love it.
As an OC. Oh my god.
It's a hockey term, Timmy, throwing the grocery stick out there. Love it.
Yeah, Roy Zappi. They have nothing to lose. Playing these teams that have nothing to lose scare me because even the Chargers, I was like, man, if we had scored, if the Khalil Shakir had been the touchdown, which it looked like at first it was, it actually worked out that it wasn't because we were able to run the clock out. But if we score, we go up by 7. The Chargers are a team, and they would have plenty of time. If they had come back and scored, they're going for 2 points. They're going for 2 to win it. There's no reason not to. So these type of teams where they're going to go for it a little bit more on 4th down, why not? They might do something crazy like, let's go for 2 and win this thing. So these are the teams, these are the games that scare you even more because you're going against a team that has nothing, absolutely nothing to lose. Let's see here, Jake. Matt Cheddar, did Mac never develop because lack of wide receivers, or what was it more to his bad? What's your thoughts, Jake?
Boy, he had some really bad throws this year. I think you look at what Bailey Zappi's doing, and I mean, Juju's been banged up. They don't have Kendrick Bourne playing. Hunter Henry's been missing games. So I feel like there's really not a ton of excuses to give to Mac. I think Mac's confidence is totally shot. This is also a guy that's had 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years, and I don't think he's as bad as everyone says he is. Now, sure, he throws a duck every once in a while, and he makes some bad decisions, but I feel like for him, like the biggest thing is just his confidence is totally shot. And he needs to have a new start somewhere else. He cannot stay in New England because it's just not going to work out for him.
Matt Cheddar says, and I'm not sure I believe in Zappi. Then he says, so someone has to win the AFC South. Now the quarterback hurt. Who's he referring to there?
So he's saying basically because Trevor Lawrence is banged up. Yeah, I mean, the AFC South it's as wide open as ever now. You look at, I mean, between the Texans and the Jags, the Colts as well. I mean, they're all battling for that division crown, so agreed. Going to be very interesting.
Timmy says, I fell asleep during the 4th quarter for the Chargers game. I went too late. Timmy, my goodness. What do you do when the Sabres
Timmy's
travel?
An old man.
What do you do when the Sabres travel to West Coast? You're like, I'll catch the game on replay tomorrow.
Now, to his credit, he's an active individual, and he gets up early. He seizes the day. He does a hell of a lot more activity than I do. So to his credit, it makes sense. Hey, you're just naturally tired after a long day of hard work, plain and simple.
Well, I get it, and I give him credit for that. He does get up early, but Timmy, man, you're a sports fan. You got to be staying up. I don't care.
I know.
What
the heck, man? Yeah.
There are these special drinks that help you stay up.
Right? Well, he's off caffeine now, too. He doesn't even drink caffeine anymore.
Oh, okay. So he's in big trouble.
Guy's unbelievable. I don't know how he does it. I mean, I don't really drink a whole lot of caffeine. I still naturally get it, but still, man.
Well, you know me, drinking the caffeine. I'll tell you what, it doesn't help anymore. I think my system's so immune to it.
Yeah, you're just like,
I could drink 3 of these before I go to bed here in a couple hours, and I sleep. Fine. I sleep like a baby.
Yep.
Bryce saying we don't blow out teams because our wide receivers haven't been showing up in games. Yeah, it's so true, Roy. And I don't know, if that's a scheme thing. I don't know if it's because it's the running game's been working well, but like Jake and I were saying earlier, it just feels like the whole wide receiver room hasn't shown up as a whole, no matter what game it is. Sure, it was Gabe last week, and Steph Diggs came up with some big plays when we needed it against the Chargers. And Khalil, I think I'd love to see him get more. Why they throw him the ball just twice? They seem to throw him twice or 3 times, and he makes plays. Kid gets open. When you got to defend Diggs and you got to defend Davis and you got Dalton Kincaid, that's your guy, Khalil, and he doesn't let you down. So keep going to him.
Yeah, and he yards after the catch. I mean, he offers that value too.
He really does.
So you got to get him more involved, plain and simple. He is our true slot receiver, and it's great.
Yeah, I like you said, like Jake said, Timmy, agree. Feed James Cook, out of the backfield. So don't just run it to him, throw it to him.
I'm glad you said that because he didn't catch a single pass last week against the Chargers.
That's
So I
absolutely
was very
crazy.
surprised. Yeah. I mean, especially what he did against the Chiefs, what he did against Philly, even. I mean, I know he dropped a touchdown pass, but still, like, this is a kid that can catch the ball out of the backfield. Use him in other ways. You don't have to just run the football with him.
That's a good comment here by Matt Chad. I really like Cook, but like seeing Fournette, what worries me just as much as is the drop short pass.
Yeah.
Um, so Leonard Fournette looked good. I mean, he had 4 carries for 20 yards. It was cool that they got him in early. And did I see him on special teams as well?
Yeah. He ran a kickback too. He
That's crazy.
fielded a
We
kickoff. Yeah.
we know his history. We know he can bring. I mean, he's massive, and good pass blocker, good receiver, good receiver, I should say, and can run the ball well. He was a good runner in his day as well. So I
Oh yeah.
like what he brings. I don't know. I'd be curious if they're going to keep him up and it was a good call by, I think it was Stefan on our channel here. He said you won't see Laney until the Charger game because they can bring him up, a couple. What is it? 3 games, or is it the 4th game that you have to put him on the active roster?
So you get 3 games, and then that 4th game he would have to be
Okay.
added to the active roster. However, there is a loophole. So once you get into the playoffs, there is an unlimited amount of times that you can call up a practice squad player, and you don't have to be on the hook for then bringing him onto the active roster. So I think the Bills played this very smart. They want to keep him for the playoffs, and I'm sure you'll see some more of him.
Yeah, Patriots have the second ranked defense against the run.
Yep.
Allen will need to throw the ball 30 plus times this game, in my opinion. Now, that worries me a little bit only because there is weather. But this year, Jake, in the past, what would I always tell you? Man, I hate these weather games.
Yeah.
We seem to struggle. But this year, I've seen the Bills show up in weather games like there was no weather. Now, little different. I don't think we've had a snow game at all. So
Nope.
it'll be interesting if the snow shows up on Sunday. But yeah, talk to us about, the guy who looks like you, Mr. Josh Allen. What's been going on? I mean, we had 15 passes a couple of weeks ago. I don't know how many did he throw last week. It really hasn't been that old Bills team that we're used to seeing Josh throw up 30 plus a game.
Yeah. I feel like definitely with Joe Brady, you could tell that he definitely wants to run the football. James Cook the last 2 games has had 20 or more carries. So I think that is certainly a point of emphasis for him, which is great. I love to see that. But, there is something to be said about your quarterback. You're paying him $257 million. You don't pay a quarterback $257 million to only throw the ball 20 times. So you got to, and I get it. Sometimes it doesn't call for that. Like what we did against the Cowboys, there was no need to throw the ball more than 15 times. But maybe you throw the ball 5 more times against the Chargers, and this Bills team ends up winning by 2 scores and not a field goal, or not even a field goal. So, yeah, I think especially given the circumstances, especially with this Patriots defense, they're good against the run. They've proven that. I think our offensive line has played very well this year, and they've given Josh a lot of time. I mean, Josh's sack percentage is, I think, at an all-time low for him in his career right now, which is great. And most of the sacks have kind of been on him, his own fault. But yeah, I mean, this is a get right game, I think, for our receiving core. I think it's a get right game for Dalton Kincaid as well. So let's throw the ball a little bit. I love what Roy says here, 30 plus times. I would love to see it.
Yeah, I was just looking back over his last few games here, and he threw the ball 21 times against the Chargers, 15 times, which is insane against Dallas. But
Yeah.
like you said, why would you just go away from the
There was
run
no
when
need.
they couldn't stop it? Against KC, he threw it 42 times, 51 times against Philly, 32 against the Jets, 26 against Denver, 38, 40, 41, 30. So most of the time, Josh is well over 30. It's just been these recent games. So I agree with you. I think he's going to put up at least over 30 passing attempts this game, and especially if they're able to stop the run game, like you were saying there, Roy, being that they have the second best defense against the run. They're 16th overall on defense, but so that just makes me think throw against this team because obviously if they're 16th ranked, yet they're second overall in run, they got to be one of the worst against the pass.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and I'll say this. I mean, I think, you look at their defensive line, they're a little banged up, but they do have a stud in Christian Barmore. He's had a really nice year. I think he's got 8.5 sacks this season. Keon White has had to step up in place of Matt Judon. He's their second-round pick. You still got Lawrence Guy, who has been a very solid player for them. But I'm taking our O-line over their D-line all day. And I'll tell you this, I think Josh can have an incredible day on Sunday. I think we just got to stick to it. And, I think you get your playmakers involved, plain and simple.
So Timmy's saying he actually prefers Ty Johnson over Fournette, which is interesting. Yeah, Ty's look good. I'm not
he's
saying
had a nice year.
He's looked really good when he's been in there. He runs hard, runs strong, can catch the ball. So I'm not saying just bring up Lenny because Ty's been bad, but Lenny has the proven experience. That's all I'm going for there, right? Yeah. The leadership, been around a long time. He's got a Super Bowl. Has he got just one, or has he got more than one?
Just one. Yep, just one with the Buccaneers. Yep.
So I don't know, Timmy. I agree with you to some degree, but I don't know. When it comes to playoff time, Lombardi Lenny sounds pretty darn good.
It's wild because Leonard Fournette is not that old. I mean, he's 28. It just feels like he's been in the league so much longer.
It does.
But
I am surprised though, Jake, that nobody picked him up.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? What is up there? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, he caught 73 passes last season. He was a very balanced back. He had 668 rushing yards, 523 receiving yards, and still was a key component of that Buccaneers offense. So not really sure.
Matt Chatter says this is the most optimistic I've been all year. Miss No Milano, but come to accept it. I think our edges are not working out except Floyd. Yeah, it's
AJ Epinesa, but he's been banged up.
Epinesa, right? So it's a little concerning. Obviously, Von Miller has not been. We thought he would be we showed some life from one of the games, but he just hasn't. And I don't think the gear is gonna. I don't think the switch. I'm coming up with these different things. I don't think the switch is gonna flip. I really don't see it, Jake, with just 2 more games to go. Yeah. I'm hopeful, I'm wishful, but if it hasn't happened by now, I don't see it happening. And then Groot, let's talk a little bit about Groot. I mean, the expectations were 10 plus sacks this year. I think you threw out a big number for him, 12 sacks or something like that.
I said 12 and a half. Yeah.
12 and a half. And, he's a great run stopper. Don't get me wrong. But the sack numbers, I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts on Groot? What's happening?
He has these I think he's very spontaneous. Like he has these great moments and then he goes invisible for the rest of the game. I just can't figure it out. And I feel like he's still a very good football player. Just for whatever reason, he doesn't consistently make those plays that a first-round pick should be making.
Yeah. Great, but he's great against the run. I will say
that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're that tall, man, just get those hands up, get those arms up. You're going to be knocking a lot of passes down. So I don't know. I can't. I guess the only disappointment for me is that sack number. But Leonard Floyd's been doing great. Ed Oliver's picking up the slack for sure. Eddie's been a monster.
So damn good.
Oh, man. Good. And if Daquan Jones can come back towards the again, I think maybe we see him in that Dolphin game. I mean, let's go. Watch out for that. Let's see here. I did want to comment on something Roy's saying. I thought they were calling for possible flurries, maybe a snow shower. Doesn't sound like a weather game. What are you saying, Roy? That's just because it's Buffalo and that they're used to that? I mean, I don't know. In Buffalo, weather can change. I mean, this is Wednesday. We don't know. It could be a flurries and maybe a snow shower, or it could be just a blizzard. I don't know. Things can change.
Right.
Crazy. But when I say weather, there's some weather in the forecast, like you said, possible flurries and a snow shower, and it's cold. It's going to be in the 30s. And
I'd be more concerned if it was rain, though. Honestly, I think with snow, obviously the drop passes aren't as prevalent as they are in the rain.
Football's going to be hard, though. It's going to be hard. It's frozen.
That's true.
It's Groot. Is Groot the Gabe Davis?
That's funny. I like that. I like it, Roy. Maybe. He might be. I just feel like it may be one of those things where it's like once every 3 games, you'll see this guy come out and have an incredible day, and then after that, he's invisible. I just don't understand it. So yes, good comparison there.
And then he just thinks Fournette's overrated. Okay, Timmy.
I don't know, Timmy. Maybe. I mean, I guess there is a reason why no team signed him, but like, I think he could still get it done. I think he's still got great size. He can catch the football. Like, I just feel like for the Bills, he might not be the best fit per se. He could have went elsewhere, I guess, that where he may have been a better back or even a starter. You know, I mean, I feel like the Bills, there's just so much depth at this position, and we already feel good with our guys. So he was already behind the 8 ball as it was.
I want to share a screen with you real quick. Let me share something here. I want to show you. We're talking bad about group, but let's look a little closer at that. Let me see here. Share screen. Let's go over to this one right here. There we go. Let me bring it up. So let's bring up PFF a little bit here, and let me zoom in on this.
Wow, look at that.
So Russo in PFF's eyes. So from the eye test, you're not thinking, like we were just saying, we've been disappointing on the sack numbers, but he's the 13th rated edge player according to PFF, which is crazy. You got Floyd over there, who is the sack leader on this team, but sacks aren't everything, guys, right? We know that. You could have 12 sacks, but if you're not helping stuff to run or maybe Russo, let's look a little deeper at Russo's number. By the way, look at Dotson. We've got to give this guy some credit. Everybody wanted him out of town in preseason. And even I think who was it? It was the commentator. Who's the commentator? Chris Collinsworth. I think he mentioned Dotson. And he always talks up his PFF because he's the owner of PFF, or
that's his thing.
Right. Yep. But Dotson, he's the 3rd overall linebacker. And I gotta say, every time I watch him play, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with him. But let's look at Rousseau a little bit more here. Let's dig in a little deeper in. So I want to see what they're doing. So on the run defense, 81.5, pass rush, 69, and coverage. So he must be getting a decent amount of pressures. And I wish I could see that. Let me see real quick. So let's see. He's got 6 sacks, forced fumbles 1, assist 5, and 28 solo tackles. Trying to see if they have
29 hurries, 10 hits.
So 45 total pressures. Now, I want to see something here because I want to go back and I want to look at Leonard Floyd. So remember this number, 45 pressures, okay? Let's go back and let's go to Floyd. Let's bring up his player page. So he's got 11 sacks. And again, they might be a little off. It's weird how PFF gives sack credit. Let me take this off the board so you can see this. That's weird.
Pretty sure he's at 10.5.
Yeah, so they don't count. I actually got a hold of them one time and I say, why are you giving him 11 in this case when he's only got 10.5? They're like, we don't do half sacks. You get full credit for a sack.
Interesting.
But let's look at his pressures. So he's got less pressures, right? 39. Even though he's got more sacks, Groot's got more pressures. And interesting.
Yeah.
So, so let's not, sell Groot short here. He's a great run stopper, and he's got 6 sacks. I don't know if it's a full 6. Is this full 6? Is that his actual correct number? So like
5.5. I think he's at actually.
Okay, so they round it. Anyhow, interesting stuff there. I just want to go back to that because we were giving Groot a little grief. All right, let me pull him off there. What else we got going on? Let's go. Matt Cheddar saying, I did not want Dotson on my Stallions. Now I like him. Yeah,
hey, I wanted to talk to Matt Chatter about this too. He had a question early on. He said, what's your favorite spring team? So he was alluding to the XFL and USFL. I do have an answer for you. I like the Seattle Sea Dragons. I actually do have a hoodie of them. I love their uniforms. I think their logo is sweet. And, I followed them back when the XFL started back up again in 2020. Believe this, or believe it or not, Mad Chatter, it was 2020. Obviously, COVID had hit and shortened their season. But prior to that, I was doing an Excel sheet version of fantasy football for the XFL. We had 6 dudes in our league, and I would type it out, every week and calculate the numbers and all that. That's how into football I am. So I do follow the spring league. I think for the USFL, I don't really have a team for that per se. Obviously watched a lot of the Birmingham Stallions and Michigan Panthers, but I don't have a team for them just yet. But I definitely am a Seattle Sea Dragons fan for the XFL.
That's good. That's crazy that you.
I know. It's a psychotic thing.
Roy's saying this Groot Hall reminds me of Jerry Hughes. Look, Jerry Hughes was a little different. Jerry Hughes wasn't a good run stopper like Leonard Floyd was. Hughes was all about getting to the quarterback, and we used to be so frustrated because Hughes was known as he'd get pressure right. He was right there. Next thing you know, quarterback's running past them, and he's just always kind of behind the play just a little bit.
Yeah,
but Jerry Hughes had a long career with the Bills, and that's
he did. He had a nice career too. He really did.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Jake. So real quick, I mean, we kind of talked about it. We said, hey, obviously you got to try to run. We want to feed Cook, but that doesn't mean run him, throw him the ball. Last week you said he had 0 targets or he had no catches. I don't know if he had 0 targets, no catches. Yeah. Get him the ball out and space a little bit more. Get these wide receivers, throw the ball more. We want Josh to throw the ball over 30 times and get those receivers, tight ends, and even Kincaid. It's been a little quiet lately. And get him back in. Get him that record. He needs like 6 or 7 more catches to break Pete Metzler's record for the Buffalo Bills of 68 receptions by a tight end. Let's get him that. I think the defense has been solid. Defense will be the defense. I think when we played him the first time, I don't think we had Rasul Douglas, did we?
We did not. No.
Did not.
Nope.
So the defense, has been bringing it each week and even more so lately. So I think the defense will be fine. Let's put up some numbers. Let's put up some points. And I think that's how we beat them. Any other things you see us needing to do to win this game? Oh, and stay mistake-free. Don't lose those turnover battles. You cannot give that team more opportunities. Let them stay in the game. Let them believe they can win this game. Don't do that. You'll be all right. Jake, sorry.
No, you said it very well. I think my biggest thing is really do what the Patriots used to do. Throw to the running backs. I mean, this was a staple of the Patriots over the last 20 years. Like, that's all they used to do. I remember there was a game, I think Shane Vereen caught like 12 or 13 passes against the Bills in a single game. Let's do the same damn thing. I would love to see James Cook with an 8 reception game or a 6 reception game. That opens everything up. I mean, he can make plays in open space too. But, I mean, you talk about getting the receivers involved. Maybe start by throwing to the backs. Keep this defense honest. And then it kind of opens up the offense a little bit more. And then you can maybe take a shot. Or you could, work the middle of the field a little bit more. And, maybe Steph Diggs will have a nice day. Like, there's so many things you can do. I feel like, James is such a valuable player in that sense. And our other backs can catch passes too. So let's give that a go.
Yeah, I like that. I also like that all of our backs can catch out of the backfield.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yep.
So whether it's Ty Johnson, Fournette, Murray, or Cook, get him the ball. Yeah, in space. I like that. I like that call. I would like to see a 100-yard game from Stephon Diggs. It's been way too long. Let's go. I'll go look that up real quick. When is the last time Steph Diggs?
I want to say it's like 8 or 9 games. It's been. It was.
Bring it up real quick.
Let me think of what game it would have been. It was probably the 10 for 100 game, and that was shoot.
So back in, dude,
the Buccaneers, right?
October 15th against the New York Giants. He had 10 for 100. Cow. After that, he's had 58, 70, 86, 34, 27, 74, 24, 48, and 29. I mean, that can't happen.
I saw Shefty posted about it too, and Steph commented on it, and he said, "Hey, at least we're winning," or something like that.
Winning, yeah.
I don't know how to feel about. I mean, here's the thing. I think initially reading that, I was like, "Oh boy, is he being sarcastic about this?" Because he put a ... and I'm like, "Oh, don't let the media read into this too much, because they're going to have a heyday." But after watching the mic'd up with Josh and him and how they communicate, you could tell this guy, he just wants to win. Like, if he's involved, great. I think he wants to be involved, of course, but he just wants to win the damn game. So you love to see
Yeah, see, what is he saying here? Roy's saying, waiting for the cat
it.
to attack the train.
I don't know where she went. She was down here, but yeah, no, she does. She gets close when the train's going like that, though. She'll get a little nervous.
If you had told me Bernard was half as good as he is, I would have said you're crazy. I think
Yeah, I agree.
I think we're all just in shock and awe of how good this young kid has been. I mean, he didn't even play in the preseason. Last year, he got a little bit of playing time, but didn't look great. I mean, I say that, but you know, it looked like he had been beaten on a few because he's only in it for a few plays last year,
Right, right.
and he had been beaten on some coverages. But kid's been fantastic. He's got a nose for the ball. He's a ball hawk for sure.
Yeah,
But
he
I'm
is.
telling you, Dotson's been another pleasant surprise. He really has. I mean, crazy.
This is a guy that I thought, he just didn't have it. Didn't have what it took to be in the NFL. He was a lifelong special teamer, but he's really cementing himself as a solid linebacker. Like, he
Yeah.
can play. He could maybe start on other teams. I mean, he could start in this defense. When Matt Milano comes back, probably not the case, but he can start in the NFL.
Yeah, it's good to know. I mean, when Matt comes back, it's good that he's gotten all this experience. I mean, I think last year you and I thought he might be. I forget what it was. I think when Edmonds, or maybe it was the year before, when Edmonds went down and Milano, because they both have had injuries. We were talking about Dotson coming in, and although he didn't look great during those opportunities, but man, I gotta say, give the kid some credit, man.
Yeah, absolutely, you have to.
Yeah. Let's see. Matt Chatter saying, I feel all good feels on Diggs' situation. I really think he has decided spreading the ball around is okay. Look, if Diggs gets a championship, a Super Bowl, he'll probably be happy for sure. And again, it's all about winning. We're not saying change what you're doing. If you keep winning and Diggs is still getting, 5 catches for 50, 60 yards, but it's working, don't go away from it.
So be it.
But still, for being a number one receiver that we know Diggs is and how good he is, it's just a little odd that he's not able to put up big numbers. Now, look, do you feel like Josh threw that interception? He went deep for Diggs. Yeah. I know Chris Collinsworth was saying that was too far of a throw, but I think he underthrew him. I mean, Josh should be able to throw that ball that far easily, and Diggs has a big play.
There's one quarterback in this league that can make that throw, and it's Josh Allen.
Exactly.
Plain and simple. He just underthrew him. I think he puts a little more on that. It's 6, first off. So while it's an awful decision by 31 other quarterbacks in the NFL, for Josh Allen, this is a guy that can actually make that throw. So,
Diggs was one-on-one. He had the guy beat.
Yeah.
He had the guy beat. If he throws that ball far enough, Diggs has got a big play there. So I think it's Diggs' time for sure. And Gabe, I'd love it if both of them, can you remember the last time, Jake? This is trivia, because I know you love your trivia. When was the last time the Buffalo Bills have had 2 receivers go over 100 yards in a game? I don't know the answer.
Was it Miami? I think Miami or Jacksonville, one of the two.
Really?
Let me see.
Yeah, so Roy, I'm right there with you. I think all of Bills Mafia is right there with you. We were all like, get Dotson, run him out of town. And thankfully we didn't. And, look what he's proven us all wrong.
It was Jacksonville, Mike.
Yeah.
Gabe had 6 catches for 100 yards, and Steph had 8 for 121, both with touchdowns.
Against a good defense. So it's strange, though, as you go, it seemed to happen last year. Diggs was off to a hot start, and then it's like something happened. I don't know. And towards the tail end of the season, he wasn't getting those big numbers. But, I'm not worried about Diggs. Diggs will do his thing. I think it's a little bit of a scheme and the way the offense has been planning. But we're going to see Diggs soon show up big way. In a big way. Yeah, Kincaid, a little quiet. I expect him to bounce back because, like I said, Jake and I were saying, he has an opportunity to break the record in his rookie year. Pete Metzler has 68 receptions as a tight end for the Bills. He can beat it. He should. So let's see. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Bean pass on a 3rd for Elam?
So you're saying, as far as a trade goes, I don't know. I'm actually not too sure about that, Mad Chatter. I know that there were some rumors of him potentially being traded, but I didn't hear what the offers were for him specifically.
Yeah, I can't remember any trade talk, nor that I'm sure there was, but
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything. But I don't know, 2 years. I don't know about Kyer. I mean, you and I called it. We wanted him based on where we
Yeah.
knew the Bills were drafting. Um, we could have taken Brees Hall at that time. We didn't.
Mhm.
People are like, "Why did you take Brees?" I'm happy with James Cook.
Oh, absolutely.
But all right, just gonna put it out there, Jake. If you had to go back and you had an opportunity to get Brees Hall or James Cook, you're making that call. And let's not factor in the fact that he tore his ACL last year.
I think I'm still going James Cook.
Okay.
I think the big thing with James Cook, you look at, it's like his longevity is going to be better off than Brees Hall even. I love Brees Hall. I love what he's done. Guy's dynamic as they come. But while he might be the sexier pick right now, I think longevity, James Cook has a longer career overall.
I like it, Jake. I think that's the right answer. So the Matt Cheddar, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, no, he said one more. I want a few more chances. And for you saying that because you started the party, let's go back a
Here
little
we
bit.
go.
Let's go. I same thing. I want to see Elam get a shot again because, dude, I gotta say this, Jake. As I've watched some of these top receivers, they're all handsy.
Yeah.
You can look at Sauce Gardner. Very handsy. It's been called a few times this year. And that's going to happen when you're playing these big, physical receivers. You're going at it with them. And he showed in Kyer's first year, I thought he had a good year. We didn't know why he wasn't playing more, but I thought he had a really good year his rookie year. And then not sure what happened. You're thinking maybe it was the injury. I don't know. We'll never know. But yeah, definitely don't want to give up on him. My dad, on the other hand, says, nope, get him out of town. He said he watched them in college, and because played press for Florida, right? He played press man a lot in college. My dad would say I'd always see Kyer having to use his speed to try to catch up to the gap, right? Yeah. And narrow the gap. He said he was just always, but I don't see that. Every time I've seen Kyer play, I've seen him right on his receiver. I haven't seen him burnt. He's fast. Runs a 4.38, Jake. It's a 4.3 guy.
I want to say too, last year there was a stat that came out and it was like amongst starting corners, he allowed the lowest yards after catch. So like as soon as a receiver caught a pass against him, he was right there. So there is something to be said about that. I mean, I have seen what your dad talked about in college. This is a guy that can run with the best of them. So if he did make a mistake, he had the ability to still go back and make a play because he was fast enough to catch up.
Yeah.
But I didn't see that last year. He was right there every single time, Mike.
Well, let's pour a drink here for Roy. We're supposed to have more drinks. We haven't used that one very often.
Yeah.
Let's pour a drink for Roy. Does Elam's future truly or rely on Trey White being here or not? What do you think, Jake?
I think so. I definitely do. It does seem like the Bills have sort of already moved on in their minds from Kyer Elam, but I guess maybe we didn't know how serious his injury was too. So there is that side of it. But the fact that he was a healthy scratch last year, his rookie year, definitely not a great sign. But if Trey White does end up retiring or if he isn't with the Bills next year, I feel like you have to consider bringing him back. I mean, he's still on contract. It's only his third year.
All right, Timmy. Get Timmy a drink too. Let's pour one for Timmy.
Yeah, Timmy.
By the way, Timmy probably went to bed probably about 15, 20 minutes ago. But thank you for staying up late with us, Timmy.
Yeah, it was very late for him.
We appreciate it. Yeah, the Elam situation is an interesting one. Obviously, we have him on a rookie contract. I think he gets a chance in camp again next year. Like they're not going to release him. Are they going to maybe trade him? No, I don't think. Who would take him unless they pretty much take him for free? And I think that'd be insane to give him up for nothing, literally nothing. So I'll wait and see. Let's see what he does in camp. I know it was a bad camp this year. And, he got into some scuffles with, I think Diggs was giving him giving him some
Yeah, he
heat.
was.
So I think it's all for the good. They're just trying to make him not so handsy. But I question that because I see it from some of the top corners out there. They're very handsy. They're very physical.
I mean, even Rasul Douglas is a little bit,
Yeah,
like he is a
absolutely.
guy, he's a poster child for that. I mean, Sauce Gardner is the poster child, but you look at someone on the Bills who plays similarly. I mean, Rasul Douglas, Taron Johnson. I mean, those guys both have been caught with that.
I want to move on from Trey. So
Mm.
check that out real quick while I check something real quick. Well, I'll talk about that is what I was saying.
Yeah.
And then I want to see
Yeah,
what his contract looks like.
I know. I hate it. But now we're talking, the injury history. He's already going to be turning 28, I think. As a corner, that's tough. And they were, I mean, significant injuries too. I mean, these aren't just, this isn't a shoulder or like a more, I guess, an injury that you could play through, right? Like these are injuries that are season ending and they ruin your explosiveness as a corner. And it is so hard to come back from that alone. You started to see Trey finally come back to his old self early on this season. And then, of course, he goes and tears his Achilles. And it's just god awful. And you talk about an even more severe injury than the ACL, the Achilles, in terms of explosion. That is probably your top tier worst injury you can get as a corner for that reason alone.
Yeah, I'm looking at his contract. I mean, he's a cap hit. Let's see, for next year, 2024, he's a cap hit of 16 million. If they were to release him, dead cap of 10. So they would free up $6 million in 2024 if they were to release him. Now, I don't think I would see more of a trade, but yeah, so there's a possibility to get free up some space. But moving on from him, God, that's gonna be a tough one. People love Trey White. The team loves Trey White.
What would you do, Mike?
Well, I'd see how he looks in. I mean, I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna keep him and see how he plays. And again, I don't know when he'd be back. When do you think he would come back? He was injured pretty early. It was unlike last year where he was injured in Thanksgiving, and we didn't see him again until Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
If it's going to take that long, then yeah, moving on. If he's back for camp, which I think he should be with Achilles, right? I mean, heck, Aaron Rodgers was.
I was going to say maybe he's
play.
going to the same shaman that Aaron Rodgers is going to, and like they can get their Achilles taken care of.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's the case. But I know he was already consulting with Aaron Rodgers. Trey came out and said that himself, and Aaron Rodgers also spoke to it, saying that he talked with Trey White about doing the same type of treatment. So that's encouraging. I still think quarterback and corner are totally different. I mean, as a corner, your change of direction, I mean, it's every single play. There's so much more involved with that. Your non-contact injuries go so much farther at that position. So I feel like it'll be at least a year before we see Trey again.
Really? Wow.
I do. Yep.
Wow. Can you remember, I'm not putting you on the spot tonight a lot. Can you remember any corner safety that had an Achilles injury that came back and had a great year the following year he came back? Anyone you can think of?
Trying to think here. I mean, ACLs. It used to be a death sentence. You talk about guys like Bob Sanders, like he won Defensive Player of the Year, and I think he had an Achilles or an ACL, and he was never the same. And I know he's a safety too. Corners. A lot of times you'll see those guys that have these significant injuries then switch to safety. So maybe that's even in the cards. That could be a thing because you lose some speed. So that might also be a thing. You just don't know. Pat Peterson did a great job the other day doing that.
So Big L, I don't think, unfortunately for Von, we can't even save. If we cut him next year, 2024, we have a dead cap hit of 32 million. His cap hit is 23 million. And if we were to release him, his dead cap is 32 million. The year after that, in 2025, that's where you can get some savings because he's supposed to get 23, almost 24 million that year in 2025. And if you cut him, the dead cap is 15 million. You're still paying him through 2025, 2026, 2027, but that dead cap goes down drastically in those 3 years. But yeah, I mean, Von Miller. How old is Von now?
34.
34. So it'll be 35 next year. And again, I don't think I see the switch flipping this year. If it hasn't flipped by now, it's not going to change. Now, can he make a significant play? Sure. I think Von Miller can dial up a play or two and maybe make an impact in the playoffs, but not consistently.
Agreed.
So let's see here. So Big L. Unfortunately, I just don't think they can get away from Von.
Yeah,
I mean, they can't. And why would you? You have to pay him in 2024. You're paying him $23 million. If you cut him, you $32 million of dead cap. So you're losing money next year.
Man.
All right, let's see here. Matt Cheddar's all happy with Big L there. Trey, not a good tackle.
This is a good point.
Safety probably won't work for him. Yeah, you're right. And I'm super. Our corners, by the way, he's gonna have to beat someone out. Does he automatically get to be the starter? I mean,
not with the way Rasul Douglas. I think Rasul Douglas is our CB1 guaranteed.
Exactly. And so I think
Christian Benford. I mean, he's been playing well too.
Exactly. And then Dean Jackson's been pretty good.
I know it.
You know, also been pretty good. Cam Lewis.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has, Mike. Where is Trek reviewer? Surprised he didn't join.
I know. Where is he? I was just gonna look someone else up since I'm looking at salaries here. Oh, Douglas. Do we have Douglas signed through next year?
That I don't know.
Let me look here. If not, we better get talking.
Yeah. That I'm actually unsure of what the terms were with that.
So he signed a 3-year, $21 million contract with Green Bay Packers. And I think that rolls.
Some of that, then?
I think that rolls over. Douglas Warner. Yeah. So right now, he is signed through 2024 with the Bills. I think because we just kind of pick up that contract there. I don't know how much who's eating some of that money, but it looks like based on Spot Track that we have him through next year. I'm sorry, 2024. So
gotcha.
Yeah, so over next year, I'd lock that man up for another couple of years quickly.
Absolutely.
Quickly. Douglas, $9 million next year. Yep, that's what I'm seeing, sir. Nothing
guaranteed. That's big.
That is interesting. Yeah, you're right. There's no dead cap hit if they release him. They're not going to release him. They better talk to him and get him for another 3 years.
Yeah.
Let's make that deal now because so Trey White comes in. Let's say he's healthy. Let's say he is able to battle it out in camp. He's battling for cornerback too, in my eyes.
Yeah.
So you could save a little money with him if you release him. You're still going to pay some hefty dead cap for him, but there's an opportunity there. We'll see.
And really, Mike, I'll say this: I feel like even if he was deemed healthy enough, to play and start the season off, I don't think he's going to be a starter. Like I feel like it's going to be Rasul Douglas and Christian Benford, and they're going to ease him back into it, almost like they did with Von.
Yeah. I agree. All right, guys. Well, listen, this has been fun. I mean, we
went way over expected time.
I mean, it's fun though. I love it when we have people out in the chat. I don't care how long it takes. I love interacting with all of you. So thank you for joining us. If you're new to the channel, which I don't see anybody new, but sometimes there's people listening or watching that are new and they're shy or whatever. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that like button for us. Drop a nickel on that subscribe button. Share it with your friends. Get the word out there about Nickel City Mafia. We're definitely up and coming. We're doing big things. We got great content for you. Save hockey, fantasy football, some of the best fantasy football guys in the business, Jake. We have a Discord. I put the link in the Discord. I would love to see some of you guys. It's free. Just click the link, join the Discord, and there's a Bills thread, there's a Sabres thread, there's fantasy football thread. Join it and chat it up with us. We chat all week long. We have the AFC East Summit thread in there as well. We love it. So I'd like to grow that a little bit more for 2024, Jake. Let's get some more people in the Discord, right? And it's absolutely free. So I promise it's free. I promise. But again, I want to thank everyone again for making that holiday spectacular what it was. We had a fantastic 3 hours, 40 minutes. It felt like it was time flew. I don't know where the time went. But I will say, Santa Claus, let me just tell all of you, Santa Claus came in at the last, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes with a $775 donation, which put us over the top. We were going to be a little short. We had Santa on at the beginning of the show. Was he just kind of watching and waiting to see?
Wouldn't that be something?
And there he comes back in. I don't know. Whoever was Santa, I think it was the real Santa. I'm sticking with that. It was the Santa Claus that we talked to coming in with a $775 donation. My God, fantastic. But it took all of you, absolutely all of you. And we appreciate you guys supporting us like you do. Jake, did I ask for the predictions? I think it did. Bill's coming in. Roy's coming in with a 31-23. Jake, give me yours prediction.
I'm going to say the Bills win by 2 scores. Mike.
2 scores. I already gave my prediction earlier. Bills win in a 1-score game by 1 or more points. And my odds are good. Heck, we've been in 10 of those
very
1-score games.
Yeah. I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm saying a score. Screw it. 33-20 Bills.
All right. Yeah, Matt Chatter. That's what it's all about, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt Chatter. We appreciate the hell out of you and your comments and everyone. Really Roy, my dad.
Roy. Yeah, appreciate you. Matt Chatter. It will be so close. It will be ridiculous.
Gosh. No, Roy, I'm saying 2 scores as in like a 2-score game, a two-score possession game. So you're talking, So when you talk that, so 33-20. So 13-point game. How about that?
All right. So it could have been 9 or more points, what you're saying.
That's right.
2 scores. Awesome. Let's hope it's not 2 field goals. I don't want, last game, we took the lead and then Mac Jones came back with a long drive.
Gosh, awful. 81 yards.
Unbelievable. He had his best game for sure this year. And why not? He needed it. But man, let's go. It's redemption time. It's time to get back. The rematch. Round 2, I was calling it on the title.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know. You know what, Matt Cheddar? You would hope that they could, but no, man, they've got to stay focused. Do not let this be a trap game. Do not be thinking, and again, what time's the Dolphins game at? Because they play the Ravens. Is that prime time?
No, that's a 1 o'clock game too, which is crazy. Okay. We were talking about this yesterday. Why that didn't get flexed is beyond me.
Yeah. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that for sure. Dolphins versus the Ravens. And again, I wish the Bills could rest, but we can't. We've got to win this game. There's a potential for us to actually wrap up a playoff spot after this week, which would be great. I would love to have that safety net that we're in. And there's multiple ways. We just need some teams to lose. And these teams are playing, like I said, the Steelers are playing the Chiefs. And the
Steelers are playing the Seahawks. Chiefs are playing the Bengals.
That's right. Bengals and Steelers lose those games against tough opponents, and we win. We're in the playoffs. Let's get that safety net, and then let's be cheering for those Ravens, and let's see Week 18. Jake, we would have called it. We would have called it. So check this out. Jake, I want to wrap it up. I want to get the playoff spot. I don't want Week 18 to have to be win or you go home. Ideally, I'd like to have a playoff spot. But you and I said at the beginning of the year, now our records are off. But we did say that Week 18 would be for the AFC East. Now, you had them winning. I said the Bills lose in Week 18, but we made the playoffs, which is why I'm saying if we win this week, it could be that way. And we are the wildcard team, and then we beat the Dolphins the next week, which doesn't look like that'd be the case because the Dolphins are going to be at least the 2nd seed. I think there's no way they get bumped from the 2nd seed, and they could be the number 1 seed. But interesting stuff how it's come down where that could happen now, Jake.
I know, it's wild. I mean, the Chiefs are 9-6. The Jags are 8-7. The Dolphins are 11-4 right now. So there is a chance. Yeah, I think no matter what, they will be either the 2nd or 3rd seed at the very worst. At the very best, they will get the 1 seed.
Yep. Let's see here. Don't let this be a blood pressure game.
Please.
I'm so with you. Roy. Please.
I want a nice, relaxing Sunday.
I wish it would have been like let's watch the Bills win, and then we get to watch. I don't like that both games are going on at the
Yeah, I
same
know,
time. I
right?
really
Yeah,
don't. But Buffalo, don't look at the scoreboard. Focus on this game. This is
that's
not
right.
a team to take lightly. No team is. They beat us once already. Don't let it happen. Please stay clean. All right, I think that's it, buddy. I mean, we went an hour and a half. I think it's a good time to end it. Closing thoughts from you, my friend.
Well, this game is on New Year's Eve, Mike. So this is closing out 2023. It's
Wow.
been a hell of a year for Nickel City Mafia, and again, thanks for leading the charge and putting this all together. Couldn't do it without you, and let's go get a victory. We need one.
Yeah, I hear you. And by the way, I know a lot of the folks here also watch the Mafia Sports Report. Again, I said thank you to everyone. They were a big reason that we hit that goal, joining us for 3 hours and 40 minutes, that marathon, which was absolutely great. But Tommy and Mikey, big shout out to you guys for helping us get over that goal line. And all of you as well. Thank you so much. We'll see you. Jake and I will be back Sunday evening for the post-game show. I don't know, Jake. Maybe we go early. Since it's one of the few early games we had.
We could go early.
Maybe we can go earlier right after the game and do the post-game versus wait until 9 o'clock at night.
It is New Year's Eve, so maybe it's
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. Maybe instead of watching your, whatever shows you watch on New Year's Eve, you check out the post-game first.
I love it.
Yeah, Matt Cheddar saying, I want nothing to do with the Ravens. Dude, they look good.
They do.
That defense, Lamar's playing fantastic. Zay Flowers. My goodness. Can you imagine if they had team. Can you imagine if they had Andrews still, their tight end? What?
Isaiah Likely, though, he's been killing it.
I will say this, Matt Cheddar. We have schemed very well against Lamar Jackson the last 2 times. We beat him in the playoffs a couple years back with my guy, Taron Johnson, with the big pick 6 in the end zone. And then last year we came back and beat him in a good game as well. But we seem to scheme well. I think the Bills can beat anyone. It just really comes down to would I want to play them? Not until the AFC championship game.
That's right.
How great would that be? Let's do it.
That'd be incredible.
All right, everyone. Have a great night. We will talk to you soon. Take care. And
go Bills.
Go Bills.